Hey, Cailen Ascher here from Calm Biz, and I got kind of an interesting question from someone in the Calm Biz community. And their question to me was, how do I convince people to do yoga? And I think anytime that we have a business around trying to convince people to buy our products or participate in our services, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment and potentially for failure because people don't like being convinced, because when we try to convince people, we often come across as pushy or salesy, or they feel like they're getting duped or tricked into doing something they don't want to do. I think a much more powerful way to structure your business, instead of trying to think about how to convince people to do yoga, is to focus on what you really love to teach and who you love to teach it to. So perhaps if you're thinking you want to convince people to do yoga, that means you're trying to reach people that are new to the practice or don't have much familiarity with yoga. So in that case, you want to be teaching beginners. You like getting people when they're fresh, when they're new, when they're all starry-eyed for the practice and they're dying to learn more. But the thing is that those people don't necessarily need to be convinced to do the practice because there's intrigue there. They just need to know how to find you and how to show up for your classes. So once you know who you want to be teaching and why you want to be teaching them, then it's time to craft your offerings for them. So whether you're doing online courses and trainings and programs, or in-person classes and workshops, or private one-on-one sessions, you want to think about how everything you can create can serve that ideal student that you truly and deeply want to work with. And then the last thing you want to do is obviously let them know how to find you, and that's where the marketing piece comes in. And this is a huge piece of the puzzle. And again, marketing is not about convincing people to work with you. It's about letting the right people know that you're out there and what you're doing and how it can help them. So for example, if you want to market to people that maybe aren't as familiar with yoga, you're not going to do your marketing just within the yoga community or within the yoga studio. You might want to reach outside of that. So maybe partner with fitness trainers or chiropractors or massage therapists and other professionals that you can refer business back and forth to. They might have clients that have never done yoga before but would really benefit, and then they know to send them to you because you love working with beginner yogis. Or maybe you think about where these people might be spending their time, maybe at coffee shops or at certain groups at community centers or the library, or taking other classes that yoga might be a nice complement for. So it's really thinking about where your ideal students hang out and then showing up there. And this can be either in person or online. So if you think there are certain blogs, magazines, newspapers that your ideal student reads on a regular basis, do some marketing there. Write a guest post, send in a press release, offer your expertise so they know what you're about, why you're teaching what you're teaching, and then they're going to be gravitationally pulled towards you. They're going to want to work with you, and trying to convince them is not going to have to be part of the equation. So I want you to reframe that idea. Instead of trying to convince people to work with you, which feels very like you could create a lot of resistance and experience a lot of obstacles in your way when you're constantly striving to convince people. Instead of working from that place, I want to encourage you to work from the place of letting those right people know about what you're offering, and just offering it with an open heart and an open mind, and being there for them so that it's this more fluid exchange, a more open exchange. Because anytime we're trying to convince someone, it's very one-directional. We're kind of putting our stuff out there and really trying to make it happen, instead of having this exchange back and forth of offering our expertise and then letting them come in to us when they're ready to. So I really hope that this information was helpful to just restructure your mindset if you feel like you're in a place where you're constantly struggling to convince people to work with you, to just reframe it and start with your languaging. Stop using that word convince. Start putting out the positive energy just in the way you speak about your business and your offerings, and just that in and of itself will begin to change it. So as always, for more business and marketing advice just for yoga teachers, head on over to calmbiz.com and I will see you there.